Hello, my name is Olu, and I am a Red Hat certified system administrator for L9. Recently passed the exam, and I wanted to share some of my experiences with those of you out there that are still aspiring to take the exam. So today I would like to go through logical volumes, how they're created, and how you can make them persistent. So, in the exam, they will ask you, they will have you create logical volumes. They may ask you to extend logical volumes. They may ask you to create them and make sure that they persist across boots. So here we go. I'm going to try to share my screen today. Today, I'm going to be using Linode because I have a $100 free coupon with them. So Linode is the interface that I'm going to be running all of my commands on. So here, I will share my screen, select the chat window. Here we go. So I already have Linode set up on a separate screen. So I apologize. The screen is to my left here. It may seem to you like it's on my right, but it's to my left here. So I'm going to be spending a lot of time looking at the screen. So the first thing I would like to do is, in order to show skill during the exam, what you have to do is list current block devices. So I can invoke the list block -f command. And so it's showing that right now I have two volumes, SDA and SDB. SDB is a swap memory, and SDA is formatted for ext4 file system. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go into Linode and create one or two volumes. Maybe I'll create three just to push myself a little bit. I'll create three volumes, and then I'll try to make a logical volume out of all three devices. So I think I'll make them maybe 2-3 gigabytes each, maybe 10. So add volume, label, I'll call this one maybe vol1, and I'll make it say 5 gigabytes. You pay for this on the node, so we don't want to push it. So it's saying it must be at least 10 gigabytes. So we'll do 10. So it says volume scheduled for creation. I'll go create another one. And we'll name this guy volume 2 and 10 as well, 10 gigabytes. Create volume, and then I'll add one more. So we'll call this one volume 3, 10 gigabytes as well, for a total of 30 gigabytes. So let's list block devices again. Oh, over here it's showing, okay, it's showing that we added some more devices. Okay, that's good. So I'll clear that, and then we'll invoke the list block command again. So you see we have SDC through SDE now, and they don't have any partitions or file systems on them currently. So you will not see any information like the UUID or disk usage or file system. So I'm going to be using the parted command today to format each device. And I'm a little lazy, so I'm going to invoke the parted command and go inside the tool, the command line interface within the tool. So we'll start with device SDC first to do that one, to format that one. And I'm going to say make label. And if I hit the tab key, it will give me options. So I'll label it GPT. So now we have a label. The next thing is to make a partition. You can invoke all of this on one single line using the parted command, but I like to go inside the tool and just do things one at a time. So I can use the print command to determine what systems exist and what locations, what sectors they're on. Right now I have nothing, so I'm going to say make partition. And then it's going to ask me for a name. I'll say, let's call it Olu A, just for lack of a better name. File system, since we're going to be doing formatting it as since this is an LVM system, I will just leave this as default for now. I'm going to reformat it as XFS eventually, but I have to wait till the volumes are created. Start, I'll say one MIB, and let's go 3 gigabytes. And then let's invoke the unit print MIB command again. Print unit MIB, okay? So let's just type print. I did something on print unit MIB. There we go. So we have one volume named Olu A at this point. So there we go. So I will exit. So now this is going to be set as an LVN. So I have to set the flag as LVN. So partition number 1, flag to invert. Let's see what options we have. We have a bunch, and you see LVM is one of them. So I'll say LVM state on. Okay. Then we quit. You have to invoke the following command to register this new volume with the kernel. So you type udev settle. Okay, so now if I type least block, if I invoke that command, you see that SD1 now has been, SDC1 is now provisioned. So I need to invoke the same command and do the same for the other two. Okay. So now make label, GPT, make partition, partition name, I could call this Olu B. File system, leave that alone, 1 MIB. The last one, so let's make this one 3 gigabytes as well. So now print unit MIB, I should see that partition, there it is. I have to invoke this again in order to see it in the MIB format. There's a difference between megabytes and MIB, so make sure you understand that. So the next thing I'm going to do is type set partition number 1, flag to invert is LVM, state is on, quit, register it with the kernel, udev adm settle. Okay, so if I type least block -F, so you see that SDD1 has also been provisioned. So I have 2 out of my physical devices now, physical storage devices now. So let's do the last one, which is the D, which is the E, sorry. So make label GPT, make partition, partition name, we say Olu C, file system, leave the back 1 MIB, 3 GIB, set 1 LVM on, quit, udev adm settle to register in the kernel. Okay, clear. So now all 3 devices should be registered and provisioned. So the next thing I need to do now, so when you're working with logical volumes, in order to create a logical volume, first you have to have physical devices that are going to be part of volume group. And that volume group, from within the volume group, you can then create your logical volumes. So the first thing I'm going to do is invoke the command, which is pvcreate. Okay. Is that volume? So that command is not found. So I need to install the LVM2 package. So DNF install LVM2. 2. And here we go. Yes. If I had given it the -y option during the command, it would have just installed it automatically. So now I'm going to say pb clear, pb create. Okay, so let's see what options we have. It's not gonna. No, we don't want to do that. So we'll do SD. So we created SDD1 through SDC1 through SDE1. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to do it all in one fell swoop. SDE1, device SDD1, device SDE1. There we go. So it's showing us there that all three devices physical devices have now been created. So there's a command I can invoke to verify that. So if I type PV display, it will tell me all the physical volumes available and how much space there is. So 3 gigabytes on that one. It gives you the name. It's not part of any volume groups right now, so that's empty. PE size, physical extent size is not set yet. Make sure you understand physical extents. That's very critical. It tells you the UUID of the device. So next, I need to create a volume group. So for that one, I'm going to invoke the man command because I usually don't remember the right options to give. So I'll go and then go look at the examples just to understand. So here's a good one. So VG create my VG. We'll just copy that. If I can, but it doesn't look like I can copy it. So VG create name and then devices that are part of the volume group. So crew. Oh, it's still there. So we can do VG create, volume group create. We'll call it OLU VG, OLU volume groups, and we'll invoke the devices, give the SDDC1 device, SDD1 device, SDE1. So there we go. So it tells us that volume group has been created. So the command to verify this is called VG display, volume group display. So we have a volume group named OLUVG. Format is LVM2. There's read-write access, and we have a total of 9. This is essentially 9 gigabytes. So there are 3 volume physical devices with 3 gigabytes of memory on it, and for a total of 9. So this volume group has 9 gigabytes of memory available for the creation of logical volumes. So then the last thing to do is to create the logical volume itself. So the command for that is lv create. So I am going to type man lv create to see how that works. Go look at the example. Okay, next. So there's a bunch of them here. Let's find a good one to emulate. So this one here is using extents. Okay. Let's see what else there is next. Okay. Just kind of looking for an easy one. So minus L, that name, and that volume group. Okay, I could use this one. So the command I'm going to invoke is lv create, and I'm going to set the size of the volume group I want. Let's just say out of the 9, let's use 8. Let's use 7. L7 GIB. I'm going to name it Olu LV. Volume group is what? Should be Olu VG, I think. That's the name of the volume group. And that should be that should be all we need. LV create, logical volume create, you give the size, name, and then which volume group to create it within. So volume group is created. So now we can go check to see. So LV display would tell me, okay, so here, this is very critical. So when you talk about persistence, you have to somehow tell the kernel to bring up this logical volume at boot time. And the way you do that is you modify your etc fs tab file system table, is what fs tab stands for, I think. So if I do cat etc fs tab, that should tell me what's all in there already. But let's we're not that far yet. So let's clear and go. So this is the LV path. And this also tells me the UUID tells me the LV size is 7 gigabytes. This should also tell me, okay, this is not giving me the extent information yet because I haven't formatted it. So to format this as XFS, it could be formatted as XFS, it could be formatted as VFAD, extension 3, extension 4. Make sure you understand all the nuances that come along with those. So the command to format this I'm going to invoke is make file system -t x. If I hit the tab, what does that do now? XFS, and then I give it the LV path, so device Olu VG Olu LV. Okay, so there it goes. It's formatted XFS. So now if I invoke the ls block command -f, so you see that all three of those are now part of a logical volume, okay, whose volume group is Olu, and the logical volume is Olu. So you see that, and they each have their UUIDs. Now, in order to make this file system persist across boots, I need to determine either the path name to the logical volume or the UUID. So one command I can invoke, I like using the block IDs. I think it's a little easier. So if I type block ID, so here, modify this and invoke the block ID with that path. So this gives me the information that I need. It tells me the path, and it also tells me the UID. Here's something I like doing, which a lot of people consider dangerous, and I would agree. So sometimes when I do this, I'll just redirect the output into the etc/fs tab file. Be careful that you use two greater than signs. If you use a single one, you'll overwrite fs tab, and if you don't have a copy or backup of fs tab, you're screwed. So one trick would be to maybe make a backup copy of fs tab. So why don't we do that actually? Why don't we do that? So I will say, oops, what happened? I just lost my connection. Okay, we're back. So remember we had cat etc fs tab and showed us the contents of fs tab. So I can maybe send that to this location and then name it fs tab.back. Okay. So if I do ls, I should have fs tab.back here. So by cat fs tab.back, I have that. Okay, so now I feel a little more comfortable. And this is just my way of doing things. You don't have to do it this way. So now if I go edit fs tab, I'm sure there may be other ways of doing this. Let me know in the comment sections how you would do it. So you could either use the path, which is this first path, or you could use the UID. So I'm just going to use the UID. And you give it the mount directory. I'm just going to use mount right now because I didn't create one and I know the mount directory is usually available. So we'll delete that as XFS as the file system. Something you could do is always, look at an example inside the FS tab file to create the, to construct the statements that would allow it to persist across boots. So we have the folder, file system defaults, and then 0, 0. Okay. So now I have to clear and then invoke the systemctl daemon -reload command. Okay. Provision that. And then also, what am I missing? I think so. If you do ls block -f. So they're not mounted yet. So if I do mount all, okay. So let's now look at ls block -f. You don't have to do mount all. You could actually give the path of the LVM, and that would be the same. So if you look, you see that they're all part of a logical volume that's mounted to /MNT. See that? Okay. So now I'm going to go into my Linode and I'm going to reboot. So I just click. So this is my Linode here. I'm going to click reboot. Reboot Linode. Okay. And so it says reboot in here, but I don't see it doing anything here. I would have expected this to, oh, there you go. Okay. So once it's done rebooting here, it would say on here, and I'll be able to check. So the key to passing the RHCSA is just making sure that you practice a lot, understand as much as possible of every task that they give you a list of tasks that they're going to test to. Make sure you understand what each task does, and you also want to show skill while you're answering these questions. So, for example, as you're creating either storages or physical devices or volume groups, you notice that I was checking as I was going along to make sure these were being created. So that's part of the test. It's not just knowledge, but you want to show skill day-to-day process in being a system administrator. So now we're back on. It says running. Okay, so now let's see. Clear. Okay, who am I? Oh, I need to log in. What's going on? All right, let's kill this and let's log in here. Okay, ls clear. We still have a FS tab cat. Let's see FS tab. Make sure that's still in there. It is. So now if I go ls block -f, and we're still mounted. So if I say touch mount test text, and then I put something in that file. So echo this is a test. I should have actually done this step before I rebooted. So, but you get the drift. So if I say cat mount dot test dot text. Echo to say test. It would be nice if I redirected it into that file. So now if I do this, I should have it. There you go. So, folks, there you have it. That is how you create a logical volume, especially for those of you that would like to test to become a Red Hat certified system administrator for RHEL 9. Thank you and have a good evening.